Hello everyone. In the past couple videos, we delved into the theory of quantum channels, demonstrating how open systems behave when the entire system is subjected to unitary evolution. In this video, we will conclude our discussion on open systems by talking about how Hamiltonian time evolution generalizes to such systems. In quantum mechanics, time evolution is unitary and is determined by the Hamiltonian operator, which represents the energy of a given system. In particular, the time-dependent Schrödinger equation tells us that the time derivative of a given wave function state is related to the Hamiltonian as follows. Assuming a time-independent Hamiltonian, we can solve this differential equation by imagining that we have some test function f of t instead of psi of t and treating h as a constant, which yields the following exponential solution. Hence, we find that to time evolve a state under a given Hamiltonian for time t, we simply apply the unitary operation e to the minus iht. We can perform a similar derivation for density operators as follows. Choose ρ to be a pure state. We can then expand out its time derivative as follows, giving us what's known as the von Neumann equation, essentially the equivalent of the time-dependent Schrödinger equation for density matrices. Note that this differential equation is also linear just like the TDSE, so it holds for all density matrices, not just pure states. Here, we can consider this commutator action as a linear operator of its own, allowing us to obtain this exponential form of the solution. If we now apply a mathematical fact known as Campbell's identity, we can actually rewrite this exponential of the commutator expression as simply a conjugation of ρ by these time evolution operators, giving us the exact same form for time evolution that we derived previously. You might also wonder how time evolution works for time-dependent Hamiltonians. Well, as it turns out, we get the same results as before, except when we write the time evolution operator, we simply substitute the time-independent Hamiltonian with the average Hamiltonian for the entire time interval, given by this integral. Okay, so we know how closed systems evolve, but how does this generalize for open systems? Well, we can instead relate the evolution of the density matrix to a superoperator L, which we will dub the Lindbladian. This equation is known as a Lindblad Master Equation. With this form of the differential equation, we again have the following exponential method of time evolving an open system. Okay, but what actually is this Lindblad operator? Well, let's derive the form of the Lindbladian by considering small time steps. We assume Markovian evolution, meaning that the density matrix at time t plus dt is entirely determined by the density matrix at time t. This assumption may not always be accurate, since it is possible for information about the system to dissipate into the environment and then re-enter the system at a later point, producing non-Markovian fluctuations. Nevertheless, the Markovian description provides a good approximation in many cases. Under this framework, we imagine that there is a quantum channel that takes us from ρ of t to ρ of t plus dt, after which the state of the environment is discarded and replaced by a fresh state that is not entangled with the system. Since we are only evolving for a small amount of time dt, we can Taylor expand this quantum channel in terms of the Lindbladian to linear order. We can of course also decompose this quantum channel in terms of cross operators, giving us the following decomposition. Without loss of generality, we can choose m0 equal to I plus O of dt, meaning that each ma for a greater than 0 must be equal to O of square root of dt for the orders of both sides to match. Here, we can see that m0 corresponds to the state being unchanged, while ma corresponds to a sudden jump between states which occurs during time dt, with probability O of dt. Based on this description, we can write m0 and ma as follows, where h and k are Hermitian matrices, and h, k, L, a are all constant order in dt. You can imagine here that h will be the Hamiltonian of the open system, while the LA operators represent jump operations. As it turns out, this k operator is actually redundant, as we can express it in terms of the LA operators by using the normalization condition for quantum channels. Substituting these definitions back into the original differential equation, we can perform some algebraic manipulation to end up with the following definition of the Lindbladian operator. These curly braces denote the anti-commutator, which is just like the regular commutator, but with a plus sign rather than a minus sign, meaning that it is zero only if the operators anti-commute. To gain some further intuition on what the terms here actually mean, we can rewrite the Lindbladian further as follows by combining the commutator and anti-commutator terms to get this kind of effective Hamiltonian A. As you can see, the left side represents the non-jump terms, consisting of the unitary time evolution under the Hamiltonian H of the system, plus a correction decay term to account for the probability shifting towards the jump terms, while the right side encompasses the dissipative dynamics that result from interactions between the system and its environment. This is a brief aside. While the master equation describes what happens as a system interacts with an unobserved environment, we can also consider what happens if we frequently measure the environment. In this case, with probability dt times the expectation of LA dagger LA, a jump of type A will occur, giving us a new state LA psi with appropriate normalization. Otherwise, we will get M naught psi with high probability. This stochastic Schrödinger simulation can be done numerically, though we will get many different trajectories across different runs. However, if we average these trajectories, we will reproduce the evolution of the density operator under the master equation. Getting back to the Lindblad Master Equation, let's look at an example of a Lindbladian in action. Consider a three-state system at zero temperature, where state 0 has the lowest energy, followed by state 1, and then state 2. Suppose the decay rate from 2 to 1 and 1 to 0 is given by gamma. Can you derive the Lindbladian for this case? Pause the video and try to figure it out. Okay, so here's the Lindbladian for this problem. Of course, we first have the Hamiltonian term on the left and then the jump terms on the right. Here, we define the jump operators to be the decay transitions we mentioned previously. We also add an additional factor of square root gamma so that each of the jump terms has a weight of gamma, since we always have a pair of jump operators acting on each term. In the literature, you will sometimes see this coefficient written explicitly outside the jump operator to make this more obvious, but these descriptions are of course equivalent. Okay, so we have the Lindbladian, but what do we actually do now? How do we find how the state evolves in time? How in the world would we even exponentiate a quantum channel? Well, it's not quite so clear. In general, this cannot be done analytically, and we typically need some kind of numerical solver to this differential equation. However, in this case, we can actually do a nice trick to make solving a little cleaner. I will show this first before showing an alternative brute force method of how one can go about such problems. Here, suppose we define the effective Hamiltonian A as before. Let us now define this matrix rho A related to rho by this transformation. If we now compute the time derivative of rho A, we can simply use the product rule and simplify to find that this time derivative only consists of jump terms, eliminating the commutator and anti-commutator terms from before. Here, we can find time-dependent jump operators L1 of t and L2 of t to get this desired jump operator form we want. Okay, so we have this simplified differential equation, but what now? Well, consider what happens if we conjugate rho A dot by each jump operator. Doing the algebra with our previous definitions of L1 and L2, we get the following differential equations. Since L1 and L2 are not time-dependent, we can just integrate these equations as normal to solve them. For the second one, we get this constant expression. Substituting this into the first, we can integrate to get a linear expression. If we now substitute these back into the differential equation for rho A, we have the following. Since the right-hand side is no longer a function of rho of t, we just integrate both sides by t and simplify to get rho A of t. We can then reverse the original transformation we applied to get rho of t, giving us the following quantum channel. As you can see, we essentially conjugate by the exponential of the no-jump part of the Lindbladian and then add these jump terms. This is the solution to the differential equation, but we can expand it even further to understand intuitively what exactly is happening here. If we assume that rho of 0 is a generic 3x3 density matrix with elements rho 0, 0, rho 0, 1, etc., we can do some tedious algebra to get the following expression for rho of t. Here, we can see that all the terms except the leftmost corner, which I will dub rho 00 of t, will decay to 0 as t goes to infinity, which makes sense since the state should collapse to 0 eventually in the infinite time limit, since it has the lowest energy. Furthermore, for rho 11 of t, we have this linear times exponential term here, in addition to a traditional exponential decay. This represents the decay from 2 to 1, which will increase the amplitude of 1 in the short time limit before the 1 to 0 decays occur. This is one nice trick to solve the system analytically, but for more complicated problems, this can become somewhat tedious, or even flat out impossible. In this case, it's better to rely upon numerical techniques. To see how this works, let's go back to the LME. Let's use the Lindbladian we were just working with as a demonstrative example. Suppose we consider an arbitrary density matrix rho of t with elements rho 00 of t, rho 01 of t, etc. just as before. We can now compute L of rho by hand to get the following. I'll spare you the details here since the math is long. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes in this derivation. Anyways, if we now equate this dot rho of t, we can see that we end up with 9 coupled ODEs. To make this easier to see, I will transform the density matrix from a 3x3 matrix to a single 9x1 ket vector with elements rho 00 of t, rho 01 of t, etc. in a column. If this coefficient matrix is very large or complicated, you would be best suited using something like RK4 to find the solutions to these ODEs. However, in this case, everything is actually very simple, and we can actually just solve everything analytically by finding the eigenvalues and eigenvectors as normal, as you might have learned in your differential equations courses. Altogether, we explored how unitary time evolution for closed systems generalizes to Markovian evolution for open systems via the Lindbladian Master Equation. This concludes our discussion on open quantum systems. In the next lecture, we will begin our next section on entanglement by talking about quantum communication protocols, including quantum teleportation and superdense coding. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.